Hey traders, we're going to have a look across all the markets today. We're going to be looking at obviously the short-term technical analysis across the S&P, Nasdaq, Dow, all those different markets as well too. Be looking at the interest rates, be looking at gold and silver and the mining sector as well too. Be looking at the overall sentiment as well too when it comes to fear and greed and stuff like that. Also guys, I want to talk to you about probably one of the biggest things that we actually go down. It's like a myth or a mistake or something like that we actually do that actually stops you from actually moving forward in the markets and getting a bit more clarity about your trading decisions. And something that's happening right now, which most people probably scratching their head saying, but this is happening, but that's not happening. Why is that? And I'm going to explain all that in this video. Let's get straight into it. Don't place a trade based on what you'll see in this video because there is no guarantees of making a profit in the market. It takes you a long time to become a good trader. So this video here is just to educate you to become a much better trader. Alrighty traders. So before I do get straight into it, traders, just so you know, I opened up 5 spots to my private Inner Circle weekly coaching program. Or it's actually more than weekly coaching program. Yeah. But I've got 2 spots left. So that second link in the description, if you actually want to join the coaching program and get access to it, I've actually opened up 5 spots. 3 spots are gone, 2 spots are left. Second link in the description, go over there. And there's an application form. Fill out the application form. As soon as you click submit, I will personally call you to see if you're a good fit, and then we'll talk about it. But then also, as soon as you've clicked submit on the application form, I will then, on the very next page, you're going to get access to my Master Trader Income course as well too. So if you're interested in joining my coaching program to see what it's all about and see if it's a good fit, see if we're a good fit for each other, go do that right now because I've got 2 spots left. So let's go and have a look across these markets now. So I want to start off with the ladder of what I discussed in the intro of this video, and that is about the biggest myths and things that are happening right now, and that is, a lot of people, or I shouldn't say a lot of people, but some people, they say, okay, well, if the dollar goes down, therefore gold is going to go up. And if I'm bearish the dollar and I think the dollar is going to go down, I am going to go long gold right now. Do you see what happened just then? That is a really, really, really big mistake, right? That's a really big mistake to do because as you probably have seen right now, and as you've experienced, guess what? That just because the dollar does go down, right? Just because the dollar does absolutely tanky, right? The dollar absolutely just tanks. The biggest thing out there is like, well, if dollar goes down, gold's going to go up, and that's going to put pressure, on commodity prices, and going to put, and gold and silver and so on and so forth. So even when it comes to the silver price, so this is the dollar here, okay? This is the dollar here looking at the daily charts. The dollar has come down, slow up, down, and then we have actually just continued to fall down from here. So the dollar has gone down, but gold has done nothing. So the one thing that I want to start off with today's update is that it's so important that we make a trading decision based off that one market. So if you want to trade gold, you say, okay, gold is, especially if you're a trader, right? Gold is developing my trading pattern right now. And probably most of you guys right now don't even actually have a trading pattern. You don't even know what you're actually looking for. You're just looking for anything. I'm just looking to place a trade today, John. That's what I'm just looking to make money. And that's obviously a big mistake there, right? You're obviously, what we need to do is we need to actually go to the markets. And what I do is anyway, I go to the markets looking for my trading pattern, not looking for anything. And that's when you start to become a bit more professional in the markets there. But I want to start off with that because I guarantee a lot of people will be scratching their head saying, hang on a minute, the dollar is going down, but gold is not going up. And even silver's actually gone up, but silver's only gone up for the last couple of days and has really done nothing ever since, right? So that's silver. Now I do believe silver is in the start of a nice big leg up. And I was talking about that last week as well too in my updates. So looking at that there, just once again, guys, it's important to make a trading decision based off that one market, right? You can see things are just, there we go. Alarm's going off. So that's what I want to start off with there, guys. Again, and I'll probably get into, I'll start off with the good old gold and silver markets now, a bit of an update. So on the real big picture here when it comes to silver, if you've been watching my updates for the last couple of weeks, you know that I've always said that, hang on a minute, we're still in a really big, strong higher lows, and this is probably going to be another strong higher low here in silver, right? And this is just an overall pullback here, pullback, right? Because what happens in an upward trend? We go up, we get a pullback. Now, what is a pullback? A pullback is against the trend, right? If the trend is up, we have a nice pullback, and then we go up again, and we have a nice pullback, and we go up again, and we have a nice pullback. So as long as we keep making higher lows, guess who's in control? Here, the buyers, right? So one of the really amazing things that one of my mentors taught me was looking at this here and knowing, is it what we're experiencing on the daily charts, right? Because if I go to the daily charts again now, on say silver, you say, oh, look, John, look here, we have double top formation and we have a lower high and a lower low. You know, this whole thing here we go, downward trend. Now, that is quite possible that it can actually continue down here and be a lot more, right? But the warning signs I've been giving you when it comes to gold and silver, now I'm talking about, and now in particular silver on this particular section in this video, I was always saying that this silver chart, right? This silver chart, as you can see, right through there, as you can see, the silver chart was what? Just in an overall nice pullback on the big weekly charts. So if you're just focusing on the daily charts, if you do trade the daily charts, and that's all you're focused on, yeah, that's good, but you're missing the big picture. And right now, this silver move that you would have seen me say, guys, there's a real big probability that the buyers are going to kick back in again here soon. And how did I see that? It was only because we had this really big pullback through here, and then we had the scooping up action that actually happened through there. Make sense? So we made a higher low through here, and then we had this really big up bar through here that actually happened on silver there. So that just keep that in mind, guys. Whenever you're trading and you get these, see this over this nice real big pullback here. What was this pullback? This pullback was just a nice. Yes, it was a good strong pullback, right? A good strong drop, but it was just a big pullback in the overall markets. And if you look at the weekly charts, what was that all about? That was just up overall, down, higher low, up overall, down, higher low, and now we're probably going to be going up overall. So as we continue going through these pullbacks, that's the reason why as the market starts to go down through here and even through here, trying to go short these markets at that time when you know that the overall trend, the big picture, that weekly chart is up, that's when we want to stay away from it, right? We don't want to actually be going through that process there. Does that make sense? So that's the reason why I've always seen silver being. Let me take everything off the screen. I've always seen silver actually going to the upside. Now, have you noticed one thing here? I don't have any indicators on the chart here at all. All I have is the chart itself. And as you get more and more efficient into trading the markets, you realize the most important thing for us to understand and read is what? The chart itself. So this really simple analysis of reading the markets here. Now that first link in the description there, guys, in that trading course, I talk more about trend analysis, and I even walk you through a trading technique that's working since the 1950s. So, and that's in that free trading course, first link in the description there. And then, and of course, if you're interested in actually joining my coaching program, getting coaching by me, and joining my inner circle, then that second link in the description, click on that, go over, fill out the application form, and I will personally call you to see for a good fit. 2 spots left for that one. So, very simple analysis is that if we see a very strong upward trend on the weekly charts, up, down, higher, low, up, and that's coming down through here, well then guess what? We're in a strong upward trend. Very simple analysis, but very, very powerful, because if we're trying to go short through here, thinking the market's going to crash, or trying to go short here, thinking the market's going to crash, yes, it may, probably 10 or 20% of the time, but the 80% of the time, guess what's going to happen? We're going to scoop back up and go for a big move. Scoop back up and go for a big move. Make sense? So that's what's happening there with silver. So silver, to me, I believe is starting to see a really, is this up move through here is now starting to see the trend change. Now, the trend on the weekly chart has been overall up. Then we've had this overall stair-stepping down for about a month or so on the daily charts. But look what's happening now. We had this high, Now we have this what? Ultimate higher high. What does that mean? That means that we're no longer in what? If this was a short downward trend, which it was, we're no longer in that, and now we just made a higher high. So what does that mean? That means now we're definitely not, we're not even in a downward trend anymore on the daily charts, right? Because see that weekly chart kicking in? If it might be a bit confusing, you might have to watch this section here, this first 10 minutes here, maybe a couple of times if you're new to the markets. But this is the really powerful things, right? Because you can start to see things coming like, oh, I'm actually expecting this thing to go up. And as you guys would know, that and I saw a lot of traders, they were saying, oh, look, here we go, another bear flag and the market's going to drop. And I'm like, no, I think the market's going to have a big move to the upside because of that big trend on the weekly charts. Makes sense? But now we had a low, a lower low. Now we've made a higher high. What does that mean? Well, it doesn't mean anything yet, but one thing it does mean is that the market, that the sellers are no longer lowering their prices, right? We're no longer in that short-term downward trend, and that weekly trend is now starting to kick back in again, right? This is the powerful turning point. So what's more likely going to happen now is either two scenarios. We get a bit of a pullback here to create a higher low, and then away we go. Or scenario number two, when it comes to this, is that we end up having more of an upward move out of silver. Come on now, be nice to me. More of an upward move like this, and then we get a bit of a pullback, and then we get a nice strong move out. Either way, that this is a very, very, very bullish sign for the markets here. And I'll give you an example here when it comes to like even the Nasdaq, right? So if we go back in time, this is what the market does, right? And this is why, guys, reading trend analysis is so important to us as a trader, right? Because look what happened. Look what happened back here with the Nasdaq. What happened, right? We had this high, ultimate high, lower high, and we had this sort of lower high through here, right? We had a bit of a high through here, but that was a significant lower high, came down. Look what happened. Higher high, higher low, and then boom, change of trend. So we were continuing down through here, then we made a higher high, higher low, and then away we go, right? But you see what happened there, right? See how there's nothing on this chart. There's not even a moving average. There's not even a volume on this chart. Why? Because when we start to really break it down to the most powerful things about these markets across all markets, which is trend analysis and also what's called price and time. Or, you know, when the market uses a lot of fuel to go up, we're eventually going to get to a point where we've used a lot of energy to go up. We're going to have to go for a resting phase. So we get a pullback like this here, resting phase, or we go sideways, right? But anyway, these are some of the most powerful things. Again, in that trading course, in that free trading course, first link in the description, guys, I talked to you about the price and time techniques, or the energy and so on and so forth, because there's about 4 or 5 hours worth of free education in that first link in the description there. And of course, if you want to join the actual coaching program where you can actually trade with me live every day, and I'll show you all the trades I'm taking, that first link the second link in the description there, you can apply for the coaching program. Anyway, so if I go back to silver now, you can see what I'm saying here, right? And you can apply what I'm saying here right now, guys, about the overall trend analysis. You know, it's not just for gold and silver here, right? This is how I apply to every single market there. If I'm trading, say, a 2-minute chart on a foreign exchange markets, which I do, right? I look at the 2-minute charts, then guess what? I'm looking at the 15-minute charts as that higher time frame to see the true trend. So for example, with gold and silver, we'll look at the daily charts, right? Then we go what? Then we go to the weekly chart to see the true trend. So you wouldn't have been short through here. You would have been getting ready to go long, which I have been, right? So, and away we go. And so you can apply this to any market out there, and you'll start to see these, when you start to see these overall big true trends, like if you look at the weekly charts, you start to see, when you start to see these things happening, it really does help your trading overall. So there we go, guys. We have 54 markets to go through, and we're 15 minutes in the video, and we've only done one market. Let's actually go on to gold here. And by the way, guys, when it comes to gold is the same thing, right? Gold is what? Gold is the exact same thing. So I'm expecting gold to kick in soon, and I'm expecting gold to have a nice move up. Now, it may not be up, getting ready to go in right now. We have a low, we have a higher low. gold can still do something like this, right? And still be what? A significant higher low before away we go. Now, by the way, I do believe gold right now is doing a bit of a mock charge, bit of a pullback, and it's pulling back and 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 pulling back before bam, right? Before it actually rams into it, right? So I do believe this is like a bit of a slingshot move coming out of it, because once this pullback here, guys, to me is like that slingshot move. And why I say slingshot is because we've got this pattern through here. We're getting the pullback, right? The slingshot pulling back, pulling back, pulling back, and then wham, away we go. And I believe once the big boys are done enough pulling back, and they start to let this thing go, and they start to really put the hammer on, guess what? It's gonna be like a slingshot, but with that's supposed to be AI, by the way. That's supposed to be an AI little rocket launcher behind it, behind the slingshot. So that's what I'm seeing through there, guys, when it comes to the good old gold market. Now let's go look at some of the indices right now as well. Let's actually start off with the S&P 500, okay? So this is the S&P 500. Looking at the S&P 500 and daily charts. And if we bring up a trend line through here, right, we can see that, actually, let's go to the weekly charts here. We can see we've actually had, if we start to measure the legs in the last couple of years, the up legs. So let's actually do this here. So if we start to measure the legs, meaning that was a leg up through there through to there. So that was the leg up, okay? Then we had this leg here. See how it was pretty much the same? So that was from the bottom to the top of that leg before we got a bit of a pullback. That was the length, right? That was the length of the up move. So then we got this one here. That was roughly the same as well too, as you can see. Let's go down to this one here. This one here was actually a bit bigger. So that was actually a bit bigger through there, as you can see, from there to there. Right, so that was actually a bit more of a stretched up from the bottom to the top of the move before we actually got the drop. Okay. Now we've actually got, look at that. That's actually pretty much the exact same. See how that was the exact same length. I'm not looking at the angle here. Forget the angle. I'm just looking at the length of it, of what's going up through there. So the purpose of me saying that is now look what's happened now. Right now you can see we're more overextended in this up move than we have been in quite some time. Now, yes, you've got this overall big moves up through here as well too, but I'm looking at the recent sort of action through here. So the purpose of me looking at that is that we have a lot of resistance here, and we also have a lot of resistance around this sort of 4,600 level. So to me, guys, and this is something that I've always been saying, that this is the wrong time to try to go long. To think it's very, very, very dangerous thinking that this is getting started to have a really big blow off move now to all-time new highs, and away we go, right? Because we've already done quite a big move in the markets there, right? We've already done that quite a big move here. And if I use the daily charts for what I was talking about before, that low to that high is probably that move from there to there, as you can see. That move from there to there, that was obviously a bit bigger, but you can see what's actually happening from here to here, right? So this overall move to the upside is getting to that. I cannot talk right now. Getting to that point right now, right? So we've had a move up sideways, and we're having another move up from here as well too. So we're probably going to run into an area of resistance through here. And I've been saying this for the last sort of couple of weeks now, that we're getting towards the top of this market. I don't know exactly when that top is going to be, but we're getting towards the top of this move anyway, before we see what? Before we just see a big pullback, right? And it's going to happen. We just don't know when, right? And if you're trying to capitalize on this market going up right now, then you do know that how markets work is they flow, right? They flow up, they flow down, they flow up, right? They flow. They don't just go like this, right? And if we can understand that one simple foundation understandings of markets, then we know that this thing just doesn't just keep going up and up and up and up and up like that, and without any good pullback. That's fundamental forces. That's fundamental laws about how markets work, right? So if you understand that fundamentally without even understanding anything about the markets, and you know that that's what markets do, then you know that we're getting close to getting that overall pullback, and it may be now. It may be we're going to have a little bit more upside before we get to that pullback, but we do know we're going to get that pullback. So don't be shocked when the market starts to go down a 5 or 10% move, people start freaking out because the warning signs are still there, right? So that's what I'm looking at there. That's what we're looking at there from the S&P 500. Let's go look at the Nasdaq. And the Nasdaq is one of those things that it actually came up. Really interesting to see the Nasdaq actually come up and hit its level of resistance through there. Really, really, really interesting. So looking at the Nasdaq now, guys, this is probably going to be the end of the move out of the Nasdaq. And the reason why I say that is because you can see here that we've had a move up. Then we had this small little move, and we had this move up. This is probably going to be the this is probably going to be the end of the move now out of the Nasdaq. I'm not too sure about the S&P 500, but out of the Nasdaq, we're probably going to be here. And why I say that is that the markets actually do this, right? They go for a big move, right? They go for a big move. They have a little sideways movement, and then they break up and they completely reverse against you. If I go down to my hourly charts, you'll be able to see this. Right, on the futures market. Look at this here on the futures market. So what actually happened? This is exactly what happened on the futures market, right? We went for a big move, sideways, a breakout, sucked people in, and completely reversed. Now, guess what that's going to be? This is probably going to be the end of the move. From an hourly chart perspective anyway. This is an hourly chart, by the way, guys. Remember, not a daily chart. So we're probably going to do maybe something like this, and then maybe come down through here somewhere, right? Which is ground control. Right, which is a 2 or 3 or 4% down through there, right? We're probably going to start to see something like that, right? So what's that, around that 15,000 level, which is only just down there anyway. So we're probably going to get a bit more than that actually out of that one. Let's go down to this one here. So I would say, guys, we're probably going to get a move down towards this overall support line through here, right? So there to there. So probably a good 10% correction is coming out of the tech stocks through there as well too. So that's what I'm seeing through there, guys, and therefore that means a lot of these actual tech stocks that are oversold, massively oversold. Apple, Microsoft, Nvidia, Meta, especially Meta, right? Especially Apple. Like a lot of these tech stocks, guys, are huge bubbles, right? Right. Tell me this is not a bubble, right? If you know anything about markets. Oh, John, that's not a bubble. What are you talking about? This is just going straight up. It's getting ready to go. Okay. What happens every time we have a big vertical move, right? So we are going to get a big, strong pullback, right? And so we know that's coming as well too. So Apple. If I look at things like even like Microsoft as well too, Microsoft has done like one last little push to the upside. I believe Microsoft is getting ready towards that little reversal as well too. So we could be getting towards that top point out of Microsoft. Meta as well too. Meta is one of those. Look at the Meta, just completely. Guys, I'm telling you right now, this thing is screaming at you, okay? Look at Meta. Remember I said before about silver and gold and about all markets, how we do eventually get pullbacks? And now we've had this very, 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 very big elastic move to the upside. Guess what's coming? Like, we just know it's coming, right? It's like, it's not going to be a matter of if, it's just a matter of when as well too. It could be starting right now, right? So, and then obviously Nvidia as well too. Nvidia had one last little push to the upside, as you can see. One last little push to the upside. I believe Nvidia is getting towards the peak as well when it comes to that. Let's go have a look at some of the actual interest rates. So we have a look at the interest rates here, which is really interesting. But the interest rates are still creating these high-low patterns. So we could be still in an overall upward trend here on the interest rates. We're not peaking out yet. We haven't actually got any signs of that yet. Let's go look at the weekly chart. Yeah, the weekly chart's through there. We're probably getting towards the end of the interest rates here. But we are definitely just going sideways through here on the 30-year. The 10-year. If we have a look at the 30-year, again, the 30-year is it's very, 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 actually, it's very, very, very slow up. Let's actually bring up a moving average here. I want to see something here. Yeah, notice this is weak, right? This is very, very weak type of a move. Because whenever we do get a very strong move, see how that's a strong moving average there. This is actually quite strong. This is actually quite strong. Look, see that angle through there? What does that mean? That just simply means there's a lot of good, strong momentum through here, strong momentum through here, very weak momentum through here. Now that tells me that this weak upward move through here, And again, guys, like I can teach you so much about these charts here, but this weak upward momentum can give you a warning sign that we could be getting ready for a drop to the downside, right? So if I bring up, I'll give you an example of what I mean here by utilizing that, right? So let's look at soybeans here for a minute, and I want to share this with you, right? So if we have a look at soybeans, I was saying this to also my private clients, and we saw this coming a mile away, right? Look at this here, strong up, strong up. See the moving average, very, very, very strong. What's going on through here? Do you notice the overall angle? What is here? Strong up, the overall angle slow. What does that mean? Strong momentum through here, strong momentum through here, very weak momentum through here. And why that's, no one definitely knows, right? But that could be an early warning sign that we could be getting ready for what? Remember I said before about the 30 year? Is that because we've got this weaker overall upward leg, then we could be getting ready for something like this here, right? And then as you can see, we actually end up, that was that move through, then we actually end up having this overall drop down through here. So what we're not talking about like a big crash, but that was actually a 17% movement on the downside, and then we actually bounced from there at that major support level. So, but initially we actually got the drop to the downside. So we can see, right, by looking at the momentum now, if we go back to the 30 year again, we can see how the momentum on the 30 year is very, 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 very weak. So we have to wait and see what actually happens here, because we do actually have a few, there's a few levels here, okay? So there's a few levels that I'm noticing here. The first level here is we actually did get a bit of a false breakout to the upside, and now we come back down. The second level I'm looking at right now is this level right here. All right, this level right through here. All right, and the reason why is because that's that resistance and also support level. If indeed the 30 year does start to get down towards say 3.7, 3.6, well then guess what? What does that mean? That means that this low level here is now broken, and now we're probably going to start to see a bit of a downward trend, and this overall upward trend that's happening right now, because it still is an upward trend right now, would be gone, and then we're probably likely to start to see the interest rates coming down from there. So that's what I wanted to say. That's what I want to share with you there, guys. Again, guys, if you're interested in getting an actual joining my coaching program, getting my AI scanning tools to help you find the trades as well too across 3,000 markets, get coaching by me, get my #1 trading strategy, and trade with me, and so on and so forth. That's second link in the description there, guys. Click on that. When you do click on that, you can go over and fill out that application form, and I will personally then call you to see if you're a good fit. And then also after you fill out the application form, again, second link in the description, then I'll give you access to my Master Trader Income course as well too.